Hi everybody, welcome to Live Blogger. In this tutorial series, we are creating this draggable contact form using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. And we can see we have this button over here, and if I click on that, the form disappears. And if I click on it once again, it comes back on the screen. And if you drag on this area right here, we can drag it around the screen. Now in the previous video, we wrote the HTML and the CSS, and this is how it looks right now. We don't have the drag functionality over here right now. So we're going to do that in this video. Let's get started. Now the first thing we will do is we will add the functionality of displaying this contact form when we click on this button. So here we can see when we click on this button, we have the contact form displayed, and when we click on it once again, it disappears. So for that, first of all, let's go to the CSS and let's scroll up. And here we can see this is the CSS for the draggable contact form, which is the container division. So if we go to the HTML, here we can see this is the division with the class of draggable contact form. So what I will do over here is that I will set the opacity to 0 by default, and I will also set the pointer events to none so that no one can click on this contact form at the beginning. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a class called active to this draggable contact form using JavaScript. And when we add the class active, we're going to display this contact form. So when we click on this button, we're going to add the class active. So let me create a style for that. So let's type draggable contact form dot active, and here we'll just type opacity and set it to 1, and pointer events and set it to auto. Right now let's add the JavaScript. So let's go to the index.html file, and if you scroll down, we can see that we have already linked our JavaScript file over here. Now we need to reference some of these elements from the HTML into the JavaScript. So we need to reference the parent division, which is draggable contact form, and we also need to reference this contact icon over here. So if we scroll down, we have a division with the class of contact icon, and the last thing we need to reference is this drag icon. So when we click and drag on this drag icon division, by the way, this is the drag icon division. So when we drag on this division right here, we want to have the drag functionality, so we need to reference this element as well. So let's go to our JavaScript file and let's type const draggable contact form equals document.querySelector, and we have a division with the class of draggable contact form. And the next thing we will reference is the contact icon. So let's type const contact icon equals document.querySelector contact icon. And the last thing we will reference is the drag icon. So let's type const drag icon equals document.querySelector draggable contact form drag icon. Right, first of all, let's add the functionality of displaying the contact form when we click on this contact icon. So let's add an event listener for that. I'll just type contact icon.add event listener, and we will listen for the click event. And let's create an arrow function over here. And we just need to add the active class to the draggable contact form. So let's type draggable contact form dot class list dot add active. And now if we click on this icon, we can see that the contact form is displayed over here. Now when we click on this icon once again, we want it to be hidden. So for that, let's add toggle over here. Right now let's click on this icon, and we have the contact form displayed. And now if we click on it once again, it disappears. So everything is working all right. Now let's add the drag functionality. Now we need to add the drag functionality to this drag icon division. So let's type drag icon dot add event listener, and we will listen for an event called mouse down. Now this event will be fired when we start clicking on this element, and when we stop clicking on the element, we have the mouse up event triggered. Now once we have the mouse down event triggered, we want to check whether the user is dragging. So let's add one more event listener. So let's create an arrow function over here. Now let's add an event listener to the document. So let's type document.add event listener, and we will look for an event called mouse move. Now this event will be fired when we move the mouse around the screen. And now for the drag functionality, we'll create a function called drag. Right now let's create the function over here. So I'll just type const drag equals. Now when we listen for this mouse move event, we have some data passed to this drag function over here. So let's call it position. You can name this anything you want. Now the next thing we need to do is we need to get the position of the draggable contact form. So let's create a variable for that. I'll just name it styles, and let's type draggable contact form dot get bounding client rect. Now this will contain a lot of information about our element. Now we need to get two of the information from this element. We need to get the left position and the top position. So let's store them inside variables. Let's call it left, and we have all the information inside the styles variable. So let's type styles dot left. So this will give us the left value, which is the left position from the screen. And let's also get the top value. So let's type let top equals styles dot top. Right now we have the left and the top values of this element. Now let's change the left and the top positions based on the mouse pointer position. So for that, let's type draggable contact form dot style dot set property, and we'll set the left position, and let's set it to a value. Now we're going to use variables inside this value, so I'll just add backticks, and here we'll just type dollar symbol and curly braces for the variables. Let's type left, which is the current left position of the draggable contact form, and we need to add a value called movement x that comes from this variable right here, from this event listener mouse move. So let's type position dot movement x, and after that I'll just type pixels, and let's do the same for the top. So I'll just copy this and let's paste it down here, and here I'll just type top, and here I'll just type top, and here instead of movement x I'll just type movement y. Right now let's check whether this works. So let's click on this button, and let's drag on this area right here, and now we can see that we are able to drag our contact form. Now even if we stop dragging, it follows the mouse pointer. So we also need to remove the event listener once the mouse is up. So let's go back to our JavaScript, and let's type document dot add event listener, and let's listen for the mouse up event. And when the mouse is up, we need to remove the event listener. So let's copy this from here and let's paste it down here, and instead of add event listener, let's type remove event listener. And now let's check whether this works. So let's click on this button, and we have the form displayed over here, and if we drag this, we are able to drag, and if we leave, it stays there. So everything is working alright. So that's basically how you create a draggable contact form using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Alright, so that's it for this video. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the comments below, and if you like this video, please click on the like button and subscribe to this channel to get the latest video updates. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a nice day.